More updates and news coming in on Rasmus Hojlund's Manchester United exit. Hojlund going back to Italy seems to be heating up. There was a few rumours last week, and it looks like United are ready to offload the striker. The striker himself is potentially looking for moves away. Maybe he's admitted it's probably best for his future to go and play in a new environment, and I think most people can see that. We've got updates on Cunha and Tyler Dibling, but first of all, I want to talk about why Manchester United's future is massively going to change very soon. There's going to be a lot happening, and I want to give you sort of an overview of everything that's going to happen this summer and the little changes that INEOS are going to make, and why this summer is just so key for our future. Onana, more reports that he's set to be dropped. I will cover that in more detail tomorrow. So, hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news and transfer news roundup, where I round up all the news into 10 minutes. If you do enjoy today's video, please feel free to hit that like button, and of course, if you're new, you're welcome to subscribe. I do one live stream a day and one 10-minute show a day. Let's continue into the first story. Manchester United will not listen to offers of less than 52 million for Rasmus Hojlund, with Juventus interested in the 22-year-old. Juventus could explore a paid loan with an option to buy a deal for Rasmus Hojlund and would be tempted to recruit the player before the Club World Cup. So, we're not going to get 52 million for Rasmus Hojlund unless it's maybe 40 million and a load of add-ons and someone's willing to pay that. I'd be very surprised if we're willing to get 52 million for Rasmus Hojlund, but United need at least 40 million to avoid making a loss in PSR, and they will not sell Hojlund for under 40 million. They physically don't want to take a loss on that. They also know that he's young, he's got a lot of potential, and there are some people inside Manchester United that don't want to completely write off Hojlund yet. However, Man United have seen Hojlund's not good enough lately. Ruben Amorim, he does not rate Hojlund. He didn't see the Hojlund that we saw last year in the potential. He doesn't rate Hojlund that much. I mean, maybe he does secretly rate Hojlund, but there has been leaks saying that the coaches at Manchester United aren't sure yet. They think he's young and they think he's got potential. They think he doesn't have much help, but he's not exactly really highly rated. Juventus have interest in Hojlund, Italian clubs have interest in Hojlund. Romano has confirmed that. One thing Romano said himself is it's unsure whether United are willing to sell, but I think it's looking more and more likely, and he said that last week, that Manchester United are open to selling Hojlund, but only on their terms, only for the right price, because they've got to get at least 40 million in regards to sort of PSR. Now, Hojlund's a big Manchester United fan. He's desperate to make it work, so there's always been that question of, would he leave Man United? Rasmus Hojlund is open to joining Juventus was also reported, and this isn't the first time. There's been reports a couple of weeks ago that Hojlund's agent was talking to clubs and Hojlund was just weighing up his options ahead of the summer, because maybe Hojlund himself had a look and said, you know what, I might need to leave Man United, I might need to get out of Man United because I'm not developing, I'm not playing well here, I'm not getting the service, my confidence is gone, I'm a young player, I want to play for Denmark. As much as he loves Manchester United, he might be looking at that situation saying, you know what, probably maybe need to go. So I think it's a situation where United probably open to selling Hojlund now, but they're not like going to bend over and sell him for peanuts. It's they need 40 million. So there's a possibility he stays. I think a loan. I'm going to be honest. I think like Anthony, the loan done Anthony the world of good. I think a loan for Rasmus Hojlund would do in the world of God, because I thought his first season he came quite promising. The Bayern Munich game, the Champions League, his movement was so much better in his first season. It's massively declined this season. And I think if he goes into a new environment, gets his confidence up, gets that experience, gets a bit of service, he comes back to Manchester United, you know, next season when we're a better team, maybe we can give him the service, and you know he's not relied upon as much. I think he could be a really good player, and I think a loan is probably the most likely possibility. But I think Hojlund's realised maybe I need to go. So why is Man United's future massively going to change? So INEOS are ready to reshape the squad this summer, and key players that they want to sell is Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, Malacia and Casemiro. They're actively looking to sell those players. The confirmed departures are Evans, Eriksson, Lindelof and Heaton that do save about £15 million in wages there. And others that could leave is Bayindir, Garnacho. Bayindir could go, and the Garnacho, Onana and Hojlund could be sold if the right offers arrive. The goal is to raise significant funds. Luke Shaw probably won't go anywhere because of injuries. Mason Mount isn't going anywhere. Joshua Zirkzee probably won't be sold because he's been better than Hojlund. Garnacho, Onana and Hojlund are three players that they're not saying are up for sale, but if a good offer comes in, Manchester United feel that they can get better players and will sell. Onana they need 30 million for, Hojlund they need 40 million for because of book value. Garnacho they want 60 million for. But United know, particularly if they sell Garnacho, it gives them the funds to reinvest in their attack. And there has been talk of United selling Garnacho to see if they could get a Victor Gyökeres, to see if they could get a Victor Osimhen, for example. So these are the players that you could be part of the overhaul. Now, Manchester United are focused in bringing goals back to Old Trafford, and at least 2 new attackers are planned. Right now, Delap and Cunha are current targets. That's been confirmed by Laurie Whitwell. That's been confirmed by multiple sources. We're working on them. As of now, we are favourites to get Cunha, but Chelsea are favourites to get Delap. And I have to say, Matheus Cunha would be, for me, my ideal signing. Goals and assists in a crap side, good output. I'm happy with the idea of Matheus Cunha. And one thing that INEOS are thinking and is Amorim at Sporting, he struggled the first few months at Sporting because he took over the Sporting side that wasn't his, and he had one summer window and he ended up winning the league with Sporting. Now, we're not going to win the league next season, but we've seen what one summer window, 4 or 5 signings could do to Ruben Amorim's system. We can see that Ruben Amorim's system is actually looking alright. It's actually working quite well. It's not his fault the goalie's making howlers. It's not his fault that Garnacho and Hojlund can't put the ball in the back of the net. We're actually controlling games quite well. So Manchester United believe that one transformative summer window could lead to much more success. They're not saying Premier League titles, but at least getting us back in that top 6, pushing for top 4, so teams can see we're competitive again and say, you know what, we want to go to Manchester United. There's a belief that what Amorim did at Sporting, after just a few more signings, he can do at United. But the people in recruitment, Jason Wilcox, have got to get it right. People have got to get it right. Recruitment is key. I don't want Tyler Dibling and Delap and a load of kids trying to save Amorim. We need a Matheus Cunha. We need a Victor Gyökeres. We need a inexperienced midfielder or an Adam Morton. It doesn't. For me, centre back can be younger, right wing back can be younger, and midfielders, as long as they're progressive and the right profile. But in attack, we need ready-made, we need experience. I like Liam Delap. I'm open to Liam Delap, but only if he came with a Cunha or an Mbeumo, where, at least Cunha or an Mbeumo can bring goals. I still think we need to go for Gyökeres. I still think we need to go to Osimhen, if I'm going to be totally honest. So let's talk about Matheus Cunha. Manchester United are now big favourites to sign Cunha. And this is a good source of information. You know me, I'm a massive fan of Cunha. I can't say it more. I've been saying it for yonks. I even said it last season. I'd like Cunha at Manchester United. I think he's a very talented player. I think there's questions over his, can he be a bit rash? I can understand why Wolves fans don't particularly like him. But quality-wise, to produce in that left 10 role, when he's got crap players around him, goals and assists out of nothing, he's got that quality. Outside of Bruno, we don't have someone that can do something out of nothing. And sometimes you need to do something out of nothing to win games. And Cunha's got that quality about him. He's 26. I think he's a good age. Or is he 25? Let me Google that. 25 years of age. He will be 26 going into next season. That's the perfect age for me, because I know we keep trying to buy like 21-year-olds, but I think 26 is just good. You're ready. You're perfect. You're made. We need that core. We need that stability. I think he's great. Ben Jacobs said that Newcastle have contacted Cunha's representatives to gauge his interest over the transfer, but he'd still prefer to join United. Despite Newcastle set for Champions League and us not going to be in Europe, he'd still rather go to United. He likes the idea of a Big Six club. He is a Manchester United fan, and he's always flirted with the idea of moving to Manchester United. Continuing on, the Mail Sport did say this: Manchester United would have to sell at least one player to afford Cunha. Rashford, along with Sancho and Antony, is a candidate for the sale. Hojlund and Garnacho could be sold and a acceptable bid is received. And I basically said that earlier. I think Rashford, Sancho and Antony, hopefully we get 25 million for Sancho. Hopefully we can get 25, 30 million for Antony. And we should be able to get 40 million for Rashford. And then it's a situation of maybe Garnacho goes. There is interest from Italy in Garnacho and Hojlund. So I think we'll be able to sell to bring in Cunha. But I think selling will be harder than we think. And it could drag on a little bit. But I think we will be able to sell to go ahead and get the deal done. Right. Continuing on. It was said Southampton are expected to allow Tyler Dibling to leave for around £35 million, which in my opinion is a very fair price. The 19-year-old is set to reject a new contract and is receiving interest from Manchester United. So there's a lot of interest in Tyler Dibling. I like Tyler Dibling. Dibling, Cunha, Gyökeres would be an ideal window for me. Dibling and Delap would worry me because of lack of experience. I'm happy with Tyler Dibling if the funds are there. But I don't want Tyler Dibling until you've got 2 good attackers in, and he can be someone that can learn in young. Dibling, Cunha, Gyökeres, very good attacking investment. Dibling could also learn right wing back. He's 19, he's great, he's young, but I think when you're throwing 19-year-olds and relying on them week in, week out, it can cost. It can, we see Garnacho. I think Garnacho, when he was limited minutes coming off the bench, start the season on 10 was much better. I think playing every week doesn't help Garnacho's development, doesn't help Hojlund's development. If you throw them into a stable side where they're not reliant on every week, and they, as Varane said, the young kids have too much pressure on them here. We rely on them too much to be too important so early on, whereas at Real Madrid there's so many leaders there that we're not relying on young kids like that. I think it would be better. But I like Dibling. Depends on the fee. There's also now more reports coming in. Onana's set to be dropped for Manchester United game against Newcastle on Sunday, and Bayindir will start. Onana is expected to start against Lyon next week. So we'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. I will touch upon that more tomorrow when we get some team news or information. But anyway, thank you for watching today's video. See you next time. Bye.